The bridge to Elderslade. It is time for us to cross and begin our campaign.
It seems fortune is with us. The journey was uneventful.
And yet, we cannot rest, for war and danger lie ahead of us. But don't worry, victory and triumph lie this way too. I hope so. I certainly hope so.
I commanded the establishment of a war camp from which we will launch our assault.
Let us find our camp. Many old dwarf keeps dot the foothills of the Elderslade, and my warriors are certain to have chosen one of them. I do not know which one, but I do know the name it will be given. Anachkerfu, the Camp of Return. For is this not our first step to return to our mountain home? The war camp is likely to be the northwest of here, inside one of the old dwarf keeps. Alright, I shall go and look for Anachkerfu. As we start to look at the ruins of Elderslade, it looks like though that this bridge was recently rebuilt. Oh, that's good. And it looks like we've got some... Ooh, my. Some nasty things up ahead. And I don't mean the goat. I have a feeling that goat is the last thing we need to worry about. But yes, these whelplings. Hey, oh, okay. Sorry about that. You shouldn't stand so next close to a battle. You know, there's no reason to have gone hostile from that. Now that worm, though, that could be a bit of a problem. I haven't even found the camp yet, and already I'm running into trouble. Well, so goes the story of Pineleaf. Well, looks like I just saw one head inside. Perhaps that's a clue that this is the right place for Nachkerfu. Now let's see if there are any dwarves here, or if that person is just as lost as I am. Let's see. Well, seems to be a bit of comes and goings, but they could be people searching for the right place and not knowing where they are. But this looks like it's reasonably intact. Definitely seen better days. But it looks like we've got dwarves setting a camp here.
The Vales are under our protection.
We've just gotten out of the Vales, so I presume the mountain hold is under your protection instead? Alright, he's been spending too much time around Bjornings, I think. What? Hello there? This bat carries a piece of paper in its claws. As you approach, it recoils, but then hesitantly chirps, dropping the paper at your feet. Scrawled onto the paper are directions to an unnamed location, but nothing more. Perhaps you should ask the scouts of Anachkerfu about the strange bat. Okay. Well, we'll see what he has to say about that. Hello there. I saw this piece of paper on a bat.
What news do you bring?
Oh, the bat carries useful information, to be sure, but it refuses to deliver messages to anyone other than Wrecker. Fine by me. I dislike the look of those creatures. Well, I've heard of using ravens, but bats?
Gundabad will be ours once more.
Only a fool will trust anything the bat sends, then Wrecker is one such fool. I say this is a trick of the enemies to lure us in before striking. Uh, well, apparently the dwarves think it's unusual for bats to be carrying messages also, apparently. And, oh, he was standing behind the pillar. I was wondering, where was he hiding? Hello there. Oh, sorry about getting in your way.
Long live King Thorin. Long live Durin Stonehelmson.
You should talk to Wrecker, the dwarf standing guard in front of Anakherfu. Oh, so this is Anakherfu. He has a keen interest in that bat, so I doubt we'll have the resources to uncover the identity of the owner anytime soon. So, someone sends us messages via bat, which is rather unusual, I think. Ah, there he is up there. Alright, let's go and speak with him. Trudge, trudge, trudge. More stairs. Hello there. I have a message from a bat.
Yes?
Oh, the scouts have their doubts, of course, but I know I've met that bat before. Not long ago, orcs ambushed our supply train. We escaped and made camp. The next morning, our wounds were treated and bandaged. Though I never saw the kind soul who had saved us, I noticed the bat hanging around overhead. The little one has gotten courageous, if it approached you and not me. What has it dropped this time? The messenger wants you to travel to the ruins directly west of here. Yerkul Shlun. Find an overlook to the west path leading to the ruins. Whatever is there may be important. Alright. Zarkul Sulun. Right. Well, I suppose I found Durin's little camp there. Should I go investigate that first, or should I go inside? This seems to be the way, but there's a worm along the road. Whether the bat intended me to be eaten by the worm or not, I'll have to deal with it before I could find out what's going on. But this worm is certainly a tough one, that's for sure. But we shall deal with worms and head on our way. Alright, and now let's find a good place to find out what's going on here. There is a crow there. But what else? Let's have a little look up here. Well, I see a crow. The corpse of a dwarf scout lies on the ground. What? The scout holds a small dead bat. Mysterious note. The note contains another location and an apology. Yeah? Many footprints are orcish, but the most recent set belonged to a woman. Curiouser and curiouser. I better get back to Wrecker. I went to the location and found a couple of unexpected things.
Aye?
Alas, I knew that dwarf. Goffin a dear friend. I've been waiting for him to return. 'Tis a dark day indeed, but I'll mourn later.
Have you a moment?
Curse those orcs. Goffin must have discovered something foul, I'm sure of it. I don't understand why he was holding a bat, but if we want to find out, we'll have to investigate ourselves. The scouts are busy enough. This note directs you to follow the road eastward, past the Haveg Bridge. Before the road cuts into the Greyland River, look for the overlook to the south. Going there may reveal something about both the messenger and Goffing's death, but stay cautious. Oh, yes, I'll most definitely stay cautious. Looks like it directed me to some rocks near this camp. Well, something too bad couldn't have happened around here if there's a camp over here. But there are some fresh footprints over here. Right? Let's have a look at them. An Agrim. Well, that's not a woman. What are Agrim doing up here? Well, maybe we'll find that out soon enough. But that's another matter to contend with. Well, assuming that we can handle him. Angmarin. Hold on. Oh. Hello? Hail, stranger. I am Arcade. When Hookok, my bat, approached you instead of Wrecker, I knew I had to measure your abilities and trustworthiness. That is why I led that Angbrim here. I meant you no harm. I had not been planning on revealing myself so soon, but there are some goals better achieved together than alone. Unfortunately, the truth behind the scout's death eludes me, but perhaps we can recover whatever information was lost. Alright, so she's an ally of some sorts? Alright. While you have every right to distrust me, I believe that my actions will speak louder. I was in the process of tracking down Gundabad scouts who signal attacks on the dwarf supply trains. Perhaps you would like to join me? We should follow the road back to Anakherfu and defeat any scouts we come across. And call me when you wish to begin. Alright. I suppose I could do that. I am ready. So let's find some scouts and also find some Angrim and deal with them. What are Angrim doing out this way? Did I just see something around there? Maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe she was wanting me to kill orcs instead of Angrim. I suppose that's another possibility. How's that? Well, let's deal with this scout. I'm sure killing a few orcish scouts won't be bad. And remember, we are also trying to track what's going on with those orcs. And at least she can use a weapon. As long as it doesn't slice me, I'll be fine. And first, many orcs to kill, I'm sure. Those orcs have fewer scouts now. Well, we are done here. I'll venture ahead and meet you at Anakherfu. Wrecker will be waiting for you. Yes, I'm sure he will be. It appears I've found the messenger.
Aye.
This stranger, Akrig, claimed that she's the messenger. I'll admit, the bat is awfully friendly towards her, and maybe she is telling the truth. What a strange turn of events. Normally I would not so readily trust a stranger, but if she's been tracking down orcs attacking our supply trains, she must be the one who healed me after the ambush. I'll trust her for now. The more help we can get, the better our chances for solving this mystery. Yes.
Have you a moment?
Maybe we'll learn something if we set our sights higher. It's clear that Goffin was killed by orcs. According to the scouts, the orc Ufluk commands the camp of Zarkul Sulun to the west. If anyone has the information Goffin was trying to bring back, it would be Ufluk. But I wouldn't ask you to venture forth alone. This could be another chance for Akri to prove herself to us, if she's willing. Alright, I will take care of that as soon as I check in with Durin. I have arrived in Anakharfu.
Welcome, adventurer. Our prince's call to war must have reached you.
Yeah, in fact, I brought him in tow. Yes, Prince will wish to speak with you at once. Proceed upstairs to the war room with haste. Right, and... Alright, let's head up here. Actually, it is Tothkill I need to speak with. Hello there. Still around forges, aren't you?
You still live?
I take it that your adventures had you clear of Khazad-dûm before the great resurgence of the creatures that pushed us out? If you had been there, perhaps things would have been different. No, that's probably folly. The orcs were there in numbers far greater than any I had seen before, and they were the vanguard only. Behind them were worse things, glimpsed fleetingly by the survivors. If any saw their full horror, those dwarves are dead. Aye, I can tell you that. The dead saw them, and I do not envy them that sight. It chills me to think of it, even now, here in the heat of the forge. There's no end to the work, my friend. I will continue to forge weapons for the Longbeards until my own furnace is extinguished, and I dare say that day is not yet upon us. And yet, this forge does not compare to the one I left behind in Khazad-dûm. The heart of fire. No forge ever burned as brightly or as hot as those in the heart of fire. I miss them dearly, but I was not about to let the orcs or their vile allies have access to those forges. I sealed the door before we fled for the surface. The heart of fire, at least, will remain unspoiled until the very end of the world. It makes me smile to think of it there, hidden beneath the mountain, locked beneath a name no orc will know. Perhaps it is the little things, after all, Pineleaf. Well, maybe we can reclaim that someday. After we reclaim Gundabad, that is, of course. Oh, and let's see who this is. Prince Ignor of the Jaruka.
So, you made it.
The prince hefts his weapon, testing its balance, and stares at you silently for a moment. When he speaks again, there is an edge to his words. Your deeds are well known to all, even the Jaruka, and I do not doubt your mettle. But you are a friend of Durin and his Longbeards. Will you fight with such fervor on behalf of the Jaruka too? My brother Otek is king now in the lands to the east, but he did not send me here to fight for Longbeards or their friends. He sent me here to reclaim the delvings that were promised to our ancestors of old. If you will help me and my people in this, you will have no difficulty fighting by your side. If not, the Jaruka prince weighs his axe handle thoughtfully and turns away. This sounds like a conflict that's about to happen, because both the Jaruka and the Longbeards seem to think Gundabad is theirs. Thetmar and Lickmund are playing at dice. Oh, okay, yeah, there they are. Yes, those were playing at dice. Hello, and here we have Thorgrest and Offwald.
Welcome to Anak Kurfu.
This is not nearly so lonely an outpost as Hrimberg, is it? So many doughty warriors have come to fight alongside Durin in this quest to reclaim Gundabad, many of them great heroes, but he will be most pleased that I and Alfred have made the journey. Well, at least you're not sick anymore. Yeah, Sorgris throws his head back and laughs, throwing his attention at several nearby dwarves. Then he is again collected himself. He wears a far more solemn expression. Ah, but I wish that Thorkel was here. When we were just lads, we never suspected that Gundabad might one day be back in our grasp. And yet, here I am, near to the doorstep, with one campaign left to fight before that happy day. But my brother is slain, and we will not see it. Pox on the worms of the Misty Mountains! I'm glad you're here, Pineleaf. You will not believe me, but Offwood is always going on about you. What do you think she's up to right now? Offwood was always asking me. Well, now he can ask you himself, and not pester me with the questions day after day after day. I've been up to a great deal.
I feared our paths would not cross again.
Yes, we have all come quite a distance from Hrimbarg. Thorgris has recovered from the poisoned wound, but if you believe the experience would end his desire for adventure, well, you'd be wrong. We received word that the son of King Thorin planned an assault upon Gundabad, and before you could say hammers in the deep, Thorgris was on his way, and I behind him. I've done what I can to provision the armies, but such a number of fighters threatens to overmatch my supplies. I will need to amass more goods and food if we are to keep his forces in prime fighting shape. And not only that, but I do not keep watch over Thorgris, who will. Every day brings with it a challenge that needs meeting, Pineleaf. As well you know. Yes, as well I know. Well, those are the dwarves of the lower level. That takes care of all the dwarves in the lower level. Now, let's go and meet the dwarves in the upper level. And of course, we need to speak with Durin himself. But that'll be in the next episode of The Legacy of Durin.